Hello, Internet. It is I, Michael's girlfriend once more. I'm hijacking his channel for at least this episode due to the fact that it's kind of like revenge. I already told you I'm taking over since you're the one that forgot my birthday.
Fine.
So where do I begin? Oh, what stories can I tell? I think I want to talk about the first time I DM'd. I am in my college dorm with my roommate. My roommate has never played an RPG before. She's never touched a Paradise. She has never written or created a character before. She's never done any of that. Now, granted, she's played Skyrim and other RPG-like video games, but never has she ever wanted to cross over into the world of Dungeons and Dragons or Rogue Trader or Pathfinder or any of these other kinds of games, right? No tabletop has ever crossed her mind. Until one day I come home from my latest game of probably Rogue Trader and I'm just going off on how awesome the adventure was and how much fun I had, and then suddenly she asks, "That sounds like a lot of fun. Can we play?" And I looked at her and I was like, alright, I've wanted to become a DM. I will be your DM. So let's just say I steal a couple of DMing books from Michael. Well, borrowed. I did give them back. It took me almost 2 months, I think, to give them back, but I gave them back. And so what ended up happening was that I became a DM overnight. I was freaking out. I had no idea what to do. I had seen what Michael had done before, and I had seen other DMs as well, but I never experienced what it was like to create a world, to create a story, and to create all of the characters necessary until this fateful day. I finally have everything set up, ready to go. I got everything. I've got NPCs ready. I've got all these different paths she can take, and I have so many different scenarios happening. I've got her backstory. I've got some other characters' backstories. It's great. I think I have everything figured out. And then we start playing. My roommate, let's just say, she likes to just do the randomest things whenever she can because she thinks it's fun. So she decided to totally make this adventure go crazy. I have this whole story planned out, okay? She's supposed to start in this one city that's a port city, and then she's gonna move on to start her quest towards the capital. So I'm like, this is the area. You are in a port city. You're currently on the docks, looking around, and you notice there's a couple of ships, there's a tavern, and there's a couple other things. The first thing she says is, "Do I recognize any of the ships?" And I roll, and then she rolls, and what ended up happening next is the weirdest thing ever. She gets on the ship, just this random ship that I was just saying, you don't recognize necessarily the logo of the ship, and you don't recognize like a family crest that's on the ship. You don't recognize anything about this ship. And so her, playing chaotic good, goes off and is like, I'm gonna go steal whatever I can find from that ship. And I'm like, okay. So she gets past everybody through amazing stealth checks, I don't know how, and then she gets onto the ship, into the captain's quarters, and the first thing she does is go through the desk. And I tell her, I'm like, you don't have a proficiency in lockpicking, so you have a disadvantage. So she rolls, and she gets the exact same number twice. And I'm like, how is this possible? She unlocks every single drawer in this room and ends up finding a golden horn. Now, she got a natural 20 when it came to actually, like, investigating. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, great. Out of everything she could have done, she gets a natural 20 right then and there. And I'm like, great. You find this golden horn, and you don't know what it is. You can tell it's magical, but that's pretty much it. She's like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I tell her, okay, so now you gotta try and get off the ship, but there's one problem. People are coming on the ship right now. And she's like, oh, great. So what do? I roll to see if anybody notices her. Of course, I get the really bad rolls this time, and I get natural 1 after natural 1, and nobody notices her in the captain's quarters. So then I tell her, I'm like, all right, you need to figure out how to get off this ship. And she's like, I'm gonna stealth my way off the ship. And I'm like, all right, roll to see if you succeed. She gets another natural 20. And I'm sitting here like, are you serious? She gets off the ship and she's finally getting to the city tavern that I wanted her to go to originally, because that's where she's supposed to get her quest. But we've been sitting here on this boat for the past 2-3 hours. Not in game time, but like out of game time. So finally when she gets to the tavern, I'm like, all right, you're approached by this hooded figure and they're saying you need to follow me. It's a very cliche thing to do, but it was my first go, okay? So she ends up going and following, and she gets taken to the leader. And the leader is like, so, I've heard many stories about you. And then I go into her backstory about how she got dragged out of the kingdom and now she's back and all sorts of stuff like that. And then, what does she decide to do? She decides to go and brag about herself. And I'm like, all right, well, that makes this character not like you much. But then the character has to give the quest, and the character's like, all right, I need you to travel far off into the kingdom to this place where this golden horn is kept. And I'm not even done describing what the quest is in this character's format at all. I'm like mid-sentence, and she's like, wait, hold up. This golden horn? And she pulls out the golden horn that she found earlier, and I'm sitting with like the most massive headache of all times because she doesn't get to do anything in the quest. The NPC who's supposed to be giving the quest is very much surprised and nods their head and gives her the reward, and then she goes off on her merry way. And that's where we ended the first session. The first time I ever DM'd, the first time I did anything, I was stuck on a boat that was supposed to mean absolutely nothing. Everything that happened wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be this giant quest where I was gonna try and kill her with all sorts of different monsters and creatures and everything. But that didn't happen. But the second time we met and we had a game, she decided to almost do bestiality in game. I don't know where she gets these random ideas, or crazy ideas I should say, but now I understand the struggles of being a DM and having really weird players. I can't really get mad at a DM when they complain about their players anymore, because now I've gone through it. So that's my story of when I became a DM for the first time. It was quite interesting. So, Michael, when you're watching this, I apologize if ever I was as weird or as crazy as my player was. But also, I'm not sorry at the same time.